What's up, everybody? This is Sid with Ransyd Gaming. It's Friday night. I just got back for my first ever pre-release for Star Wars Unlimited. And let me tell you, it completely exceeded expectations, and my expectations were already really, really high. Shout out to Fire and Dice Games in SoCal. It was a really, really well-run event. I think we had 13 or 14 people. Must have been 13 because I think it was 7 tables with a bye. We played 4 rounds after opening our packs. I got super lucky with my pulls. Played pretty well. Had some fun, memorable games, and then got a couple more packs as prize support, and had even better pulls from those. I wish I'd actually gotten them in my pre-release box, but I can't complain. They are just incredible, incredible cards, and I can't wait to show you what I got tonight. I'm so hyped for this game. Let's look at what I pulled. Let's look at what I built, and I'll talk a little bit about my experience playing in my first pre-release tonight. All right, everybody. So here is what I pulled at my first ever pre-release for Star Wars Unlimited. Now, I am not a Magic player, so this was actually my first pre-release for any game. I wasn't sure quite what to expect, what the excitement level would be, how the experience would be. I have to say it's actually been one of my favorite experiences playing card games ever. And I have traveled to World Championships and been really competitive in games for almost 2 decades, and I had an absolute blast at the pre-release tonight. I just got home. It's late Friday night. Kind of had a long drive out to this pre-release and back home, but I could not wait to share with you what I pulled, what I built, and then there's a really cool surprise at the end of the video. I am a lucky boy, and I fully admit that. So here's kind of what we got at a glance, and we'll go into more detail with the actual deck and talk about the games that I played. Here's my stack of bases. Chopper base in hyperspace. Really stoked to get that. This is just a big stack of commons and uncommons. Nothing special in here. No hyperspaces. No foils. Just basic stuff that's good but didn't make it into my deck. Here's the leaders that I pulled. Really stoked to get at least one rare leader in Han Solo. Everything else was a common leader. Of course, we've got our cool little promos. These were some foils and one hyperspace that didn't make it into the deck, so I thought I'd showcase those a little bit. Though they're nothing really special, you can probably see why they didn't make it into the deck. Got some really, really nice rares here that did not make it into the deck. Got a rare base in Jeddah City. Ewing Reinforcement is a really, really good card. Heroic Sacrifice is a really good card for those aggro red decks. And then a hyperspace rare of Don't Get Cocky. Really like this card. I think it's cool. I like kind of push your luck cards. I used to build decks around similar types of cards in the Game of Thrones, LCG and CCG. These kind of like, how much do you want to push it? And I really like Don't Get Cocky. The theme fits the ability on the card. The art fits that moment from the films. It's just a really cool card. Didn't play it because I wasn't playing yellow. As you can see here, we got a really cool Hyperspace Krennic. It was actually the first card I opened in the first pack. Saw that Hyperspace Krennic, thought, man, he looks really cool. I hope I get some good blue cards. And then, wouldn't you know it, we did get some cool blue cards. So let's take a look at what we did play in the deck, and I can talk a little bit about the gameplay as we go. Let's make sure we got a good view here. Yeah, so we've got Director Krennic as our leader. Looks so good in hyperspace. Just common, but the hyperspace means he's not common. Command Center went with green, and you'll see why we drew some pretty good green cards. First card you're going to see here at the top is Force Throw, and you're probably wondering, what the heck? What are you doing with a Force Throw in this deck? Well, I do have 2 Force users, and so it's situational, but if you've been watching any of my other videos, you know I really like these types of cards. Cards that are a little unexpected, super situational, but not too expensive at the aspect penalty. Like, I'll pay 3 to discard a card from your hand and do some targeted damage. I'll pay 3 to pull something out of my own hand that I might not need and do a lot of damage to one of your units. I think it's a really cool card, so I stuck a copy in. I never ended up playing it in my 4 games, but I really wanted to. We get a Frontier AT-RT, just a really good basic neutral unit. There's a lot of vehicles in the base set, a lot of vehicles, common vehicles, uncommon vehicles. This Frontier AT-RT is pretty much always turned on. ATSD, great villain card. Maximum firepower, really good. In the mid to late game, it's a leader killer. I think it's a great card. Academy training is fine. Not super good, but you take it when you kind of have to fill out green cards. Really like Escort Skiff for the ambush. Really like this Hyperspace Mercenary Company, ambush and overwhelm. Great keywords. The Steadfast Battalion was really cool. You'll see we actually had a good amount of cards to make green work. This on attack, super useful. Homestead Militia, it's just always nice to have another Sentinel option. Admiral Piet was really good. We had some cool Star Destroyers. Used the ATST once with him to get that ambush and get a big effect on the board. Super Laser Technician, absolute MVP. Gladiator Star Destroyer, good with Piet as well. Pretty cool little foil devotion here. Only got one Vanquish, and I'll say one thing about this deck is it's lacking in traditional removal. There are some other removal options in it, which I'll show you, but I wish I would have gotten some takedowns. Another Vanquish. I had one copy of Vanquish, and it really would have been nice to have that in my first game. Cloud City Wingguard, cool little foil system patrol craft right there. There's our first force unit. I told you, force throw can be good. Also good with some of the attachments I have. TIE Fighter, little Viper Probe Droid, little junky card, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta fill it out. I like the little spot heals from Yularen. Cargo Juggernaut, another really good card with Piet. Getting that ambush and shielded, powerful. Scout Bike Pursuer, he's fine. He's just kind of a turn one play, you know? If you get him, he's good. He's even better with Krennic though, so I think it's worth it to put in here. I wish I actually had a couple more. I had a few of them get really big. Baze, nice little hyperspace Baze, right? That's kind of cool. Not an amazing card, but pretty good. The grit works really good with Krennic, so it's in there. And here's really the reason we ended up playing Krennic. Krennic works with Death Troopers, right? So if you get a Death Trooper, maybe you want to play Krennic. If you get a Death Trooper and a hyperspace Death Trooper, maybe you want to play Krennic just a little bit more, right? If you get a Krennic, a Death Trooper, and a Hyperspace Death Trooper, and then you get a Hyperfoil Death Trooper, then you really know you're going to play Krennic. I was so happy to get these. Sometimes the deck kind of just falls into your lap, and once I saw my third Death Trooper, which was pretty early on, I think it was by my third or fourth pack, I had 3 Death Troopers in Krennic, and even the guy across from me was like, a third Death Trooper? You're playing Krennic, right? And I was like, yeah, I think I am playing Krennic. Death Troopers, of course, are their own little form of removal. I still would have liked some more traditional removal, but it was really cool getting a full squad of Death Troopers and Krennic. We've got some other good cards here, though. Electro Staff, I had that Guardian of the Wills. I think Electro Staff is one of my rares in here. Not an amazing rare, but I got some use out of it in the night. And then we get to our final 2 cards here. Really, really nice. Rare in Rook. This guy assassinated a lot of people tonight. Shout out to Rook. You were amazing. And then, I mean, there's just one more card left. Oh, look at that. We pulled a legendary. This was the second to last pack. We pulled the Darth Vader, and I was ecstatic. I was like, oh my gosh, a legendary Darth Vader. And then one pack later, the guy across from me pulled a Luke Skywalker, and we did like a little cheers with our Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. We were both just kind of so hyped to get 2 of our favorite characters, 2 of the main characters of the series. I think you could argue 2 of the best legendaries in the game. But I was so stoked. You only open 6 packs to get a legendary, to get some cool rares, even though we didn't end up using most of them, was really, really fun. As you can see, we did get 1 extra rare. So we got 7 rares because this right here, this Don't Get Cocky rare, is that special spot rare. If you don't know, you can actually get multiple rares in a pack. Right, you can get 1 in the rare slot. You can get 1 if you end up getting a rare leader. You can get a rare in the hyperfoil pack. And what I'm seeing a lot of people don't understand, and it took me a while to understand this also, in the 3rd uncommon slot. So you have 3 uncommons, right? And it's 1, 2, 3, and then the rare. In that 3rd uncommon slot, if that 3rd uncommon is a hyperspace, and it has a chance to be, then that hyperspace doesn't necessarily have to be an uncommon. It can be an uncommon, a rare, or even a legendary hyperspace, I believe, in that slot. So the fact that we got a rare hyperspace in that third uncommon spot means we got one extra rare. And I was really stoked about that. And even more stoked about the commander of the First Legion. So that was our deck. We ended up going 2-2 with the deck. In turn 1, things were going really well. We were getting the Death Troopers out. We were playing against Palpatine, and I was a little bit worried about Palpatine. I saw Vader kind of early on, maybe at 5 or 6 resources. But in my head, I'm thinking, all right, my opponent is playing Palpatine. They know how to play Palpatine. They're going to steal my Vader if I'm not careful. So I kind of held on to Vader, maybe just a little bit too long. But even in holding on to him too long, we did a lot of character trading. I had Vader out there still with 1 or 2 other units. I had a Star Destroyer in space. I felt pretty good. And then my opponent kind of wiped everybody off the board. He was able to kill my Vader, but not before I got up to 23, 24 damage on the base, and I'm thinking, this is fine. I've got my Star Destroyer. I'm just gonna knock it out. We're gonna get there. And then my opponent on 10 resources dropped a Devastator, knocks my Star Destroyer out of space with the Devastator, and basically it has then locked down ground and space. And we actually got time called on that game. And I think my opponent had 14 damage on my base, and I was at 23, 24 on their base, but I conceded because I knew there was no way I was coming back. 2 swings with the Devastator, and it was over. The rules for Star Wars Unlimited are a little different than what I'm used to. So there are no intentional draws. There are no draws at all. If a game goes to the end and there's not a clear winner, and neither player is willing to concede, you take a double loss. And I just don't like that idea of kind of not getting there and taking a double loss. So I looked at the board state. I projected out what I was almost 100% confident would happen, is that I would lose that game, even though I got close. The game had turned once Devastator hit the board. And I GG'd it and took the loss. Next 2 games went really, really smooth. Vader and Krennic and all those Death Troopers went to town. Rook did a lot of assassinating. He was an absolute baller. Those 2 games, they went really smoothly. No complaints. And then in my last game, I got so greedy. I got so greedy. But you know what? I was paid back for it. So I drew up a hand, and I think I had a Yularen, and then maybe that distant patroller, not distant patroller, the green. What's that green? I think it was the patrolling V-Wing. It was patrolling V-Wing, Yularen, and some other decent up ramp cards. But I was greedy. I was like, those aren't good turn 1 plays. Those are junky turn 1 plays. I want to try and get my I didn't have my super laser tech in my hand. I didn't have some other things I thought I'd kind of want in the mid rounds. So I got greedy. I mulliganed into the worst possible set of cards. I had no play turn 1, no play turn 2. Turn 3, I played the patrolling, the patrolling, what is it? Patrolling cargo ship. It's the space unit that is the Blue Sentinel. And my opponent immediately open fires it. It's gone. That was my only play. And he had 2 ships in space, I think 1 or 2 things in ground. And I mean, every turn before that was just unopposed hits into my base, and it quickly spiraled from there. I never could get a foothold, could never get ahead of that, because anything I put out was quickly being attacked and removed. It was against Luke, and Luke made it hard to get that foothold because he was kind of just throwing shields out every turn at will. Opponent had a lot of good hero cards. So game 4 went really poorly, but it went fast, and we ended up playing another one for fun, and actually ended up being 2 of the last people in the store. There's maybe 3 or 4 people left in the store because it was after closing. They were wrapping up, and my opponent and I were the last 2 people to be given our prizes. And at this pre-release, you got 1 pack for every win. So I ended up going 2-2. So I was given 2 packs. My opponent got 3. I think they went 3-1. They got 3, and then the store manager handed me my 2 packs. And I probably should have waited till I got home to open them, but I was just like, all right, I'm here. Let's open them real quick. Let's see what else I got, because it's fun to open packs. And Yeah, I got really, really lucky. So I've recreated the two packs, so we can do like a little fake pack opening. Um, so this is the first pack. Pretty stoked on a little hyperspace Chewbacca. Doesn't that look good? Yes. We get a hyperspace Catacombs of Kadera. So you see two hyperspace in one pack already. You're thinking, all right, this is a good pack. Little Star Viper, another Death Trooper, Wampa, Super Laser Tag. Would have really liked some of these cards in the actual pre-release, but that's okay. You only get 6. That would have been really nice. Really cool hyperspace entrenched. So we're up to 3 hyperspace cards in a pack. I love it. We get a second Jeddah City. What I'm really hoping is I have another pre-release tomorrow. I'm hoping maybe if I bring those, maybe I can trade one of them for another rare base. A lot of people were pulling rare bases. I saw Tarkin Town. I didn't see an ECL. I saw the blue rare base as well, though, get picked. And then we get a nice little foil bounty hunter crew. So not bad, right? We get a rare base. We get 3 hyperspace cards. And then we open the last pack, and it was like the heavens opened up and bells started ringing. There was a moment of complete and utter euphoria. So let's see what we got here. Okay, we got a Princess Leia. Nothing really special there, right? Chopper base, nothing special there. Let's go slow so we don't spoil anything here. Battlefield Marine, a little Rebel Pathfinder action, make an opening, little Cantina Braggart. Something's up with this Waylay. I noticed this when I opened it. There's like maybe like an ink spread or some kind of ink splash. I don't know. Anybody else get cards with like little pink dots on it? Everything else looks fine. It's just that one card. Snowtrooper Lieutenant. We get a cool hyperspace Shore Trooper. Doesn't that look good? I think that's a really good art in general, and the hyperspace really makes it pop. We get to our uncommons. Nice little 97th Legion. Force is with me. Really like this card. Little Force Surrender action. And then we get it. A legendary Boba Fett. Look at that. We've opened 8 packs, and we get a second legendary. So psyched to get this. But it's not the last card in the pack. There's one more. And there it is. Look at that. The Hyper Foil Mace Windu. Let's go. I was floored when I opened this card. Look how amazing he looks. I mean, to get not just 3 legendaries, right? Like, look at this. Look at these 3 legendaries. But to get 3 like really good unit legendaries, I just feel so blessed, so amazingly happy. Still looking at this card, I cannot believe I pulled it. I know these are really, really rare. A hyperspace legendary is like 1 out of 200. Not only that, but I think Mace Windu, like maybe Darth Vader and Luke are a little bit more sought after, but I feel like Mace Windu is just as impactful as those 2 characters, if not more so in the right deck. I think this is just absolutely a gem, and I'm so happy that I was able to pull it. 3 legendaries in 8 packs. We got a lot of hyperspace. We got some good foils. It wasn't our only hyper foil, right? Our other one was we got a Death Trooper hyper foil, just a common. But to get these, I think, are really, really rare, really, really special. And to get it on my first pre-release ever, I mean, I'm hooked. You did it, FFG. You set the hook. I'll be getting a lot more cards. Now, going forward, tomorrow we're playing in another pre-release, so I can't wait to open those packs, build another deck, make another video, and show you how that one went. I think that the future is bright for Star Wars Unlimited. I'm really, really excited to play more. As we go forward past pre-release weekend, I'm really going to shift into kind of collector mode. My goal is to get a playset. I am not a collector in the sense that I want a hyperspace deck, or I need hyperspace versions of all the leaders. It'd be cool if I had them, but it's not the goal. My goal is to create a competitive playset, right? So it means cards like Darth Vader and Boba Fett are going to stay in my collection because they're just regular legendary versions. A card like Mace Windu right here, honestly, probably needs to be sold. I don't know how much we could get for it, but it probably needs to be sold because the goal is not to get hyper foil legendaries. it's a great bonus, but the goal is to get a playset at the most like economic price point possible. I would never buy a hyperfoil Mace Windu. It's just I couldn't justify it, but I could certainly justify selling it and using that money to get more boxes and therefore build the collection. And I think that's something. If all you care about is a playset, it's probably something that you want to do, right? If you get two rare bases of the same rare base, trade them for someone else who might have two of one rare base, right? Help through trades, through finagling, get those cards you need. This Don't Get Cocky hyperspace, if I can trade that for a regular Don't Get Cocky and maybe something else that I need, even if it's like a couple of uncommons, I might make that trade, right? Because the hyperspace looks great and I'm happy we got it. But ultimately, the goal is not for hyperspace. The goal is to be able to build any deck that I want to build, right? No matter how goofy or fun or competitive, I don't want to be limited by an incomplete card pool. So ultimately, Mace Windu may not be long for the collection, but for now, gosh darn it, he looks good, doesn't he? All right, y'all. It's late. I got to get some sleep because we got another one of these tomorrow. I cannot wait. Thank you so much for watching. I think I love Star Wars Unlimited. So I hope you stick around. I hope you are on this journey with me. Let's crack some more packs this weekend, everybody. All right, take it easy.